Hello.
Hello, Dino.
How's it going?
Oh, good, thanks, mate. It's Rowan from Silver Tiger Media.
How you doing? Everything good?
Excellent. Yes, mate. And
I'm just sitting here doing an interview with quite a lot of people in Australia.
Absolutely. We're very much looking forward to seeing you in person as well. It's a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for calling.
And look, congratulations. I mean, 1990 must seem like so long ago, right back at the start.
1990 was actually the year that we started Fear Factory, and we never thought that it was going to take us this far. I mean, we're really proud of how far we've gotten and where we've gone in our career and where we're going to continue going. We're extremely excited, and we can't wait to come back to Australia.
Indeed, and hopefully we can provide you with a massive crowd at Soundwave 15. Do you remember, Dino, when you first picked up a guitar?
Yes, I do remember first picking up the guitar. I was roughly about 13 years old, late 13 years old, and I picked up an acoustic guitar that was laying around in my house, and I instantly started playing music. And then, shortly after that, I got an electric guitar, and I was able to, I was practicing songs, from AC/DC and Iron Maiden and Judas Priest and all the killer bands that I loved, like Scorpions, everything that was out back in the late 70s, early 80s.
Indeed. You've signed with Nuclear Blast, which we're all very, very happy about. I'd like to ask you, if I may, about the upcoming album.
Okay. Yeah, we're excited that we actually went with Nuclear Blast as well. We feel it's the right home for Fear Factory because by a gentleman named Monty Connor. He was originally at Roadrunner Records, and he was the guy who originally signed Fear Factory to Roadrunner Records, and now he has teamed up with Nuclear Blast, and he has his own imprint called Nuclear Blast Entertainment, and he approached us on signing the band to there, and I said, hell yeah. We said, hell yeah. We really get along with him. He's a gentleman who understands the band. He knows where we're going. He knows where we've gone, and he has been responsible for part of the success that we've had. So we are very excited to be with Nuclear Blast.
Absolutely. It must be so important to have that connection with the band.
Yep.
I wanted to ask, the album, although still in production, does it differ at all from previous works from a guitar perspective?
You do want to take it to new places, but you don't want to take it too far. Fear Factory is the band that's always been a band about trying to experiment a little bit here and there. From our very first record that came out in 1992, Soul of a New Machine, there was a big jump between that record and Demanufacture. And then we decided to take it somewhere different on Obsolete. And we took it somewhere different on Digimortal. Now, when I re-entered the band, we took another big jump and we put out Mechanized. And then we kind of wanted to go back a little bit and we did The Industrialist. Now, this record, it's probably going to be somewhere in between Demanufacture and Obsolete.
Wow.
It's got the groovier, darker elements of Obsolete, but it's also got the fast riffing and the cold harshness from Demanufacture. So it's somewhere in between those two.
Fantastic. We're very excited about it, I can assure you, and that makes it even more exciting. You're clearly one of the most brilliant guitarists in the world. How the hell do you get your left hand to move so fast and with such control?
It just was years of practice, ever since I, first picked up the guitar. And, I was actually a really big fan of drums. And I was like, okay, I heard Metallica when they did the record And Justice for All. they had a song called One, which
Yes.
I know the world knows that song. There's a part in the midsection where the guitars sync up with the kick drums. And I took that element and I applied it to the Fear Factory, and I pretty much made a whole career on that one element. And that's basically coming up with different patterns on guitar to where the kick drums follow or back and forth. And we developed our own sound, we developed our own style, and it was just me pushing the drummer to follow my riffs. And that's kind of like where it grew from there. But thank you for the compliment. I don't really consider myself to be one of the greats, but thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, just stating the truth. I think that, Urabania's signature model is quite unusual. I wanted to ask why the reverse headstock and the fret inserts being so low.
Well, one of the reasons why I went for the reverse headstock was because back in the 80s, there was a lot of guitar players that had reverse headstocks. I've always liked that. I've always been a fan of it, and it looks a little different. So I wanted to put it on my guitar, on my signature guitar, and I think it looks amazing. I have a lot of guitars that are built that way, and people have always asked me about it, and people have always wanted something like that. So doing it, I believe, is definitely an attraction for a guy who's into that kind of stuff to really get into it. And I'm really happy that Ibanez was able to put it together, and we got to put it out.
Most certainly. It's a stunning-looking guitar, and once I've got one, I'm going to hit you up to sign it at Soundwave 15.
Oh, no problem. I mean, we put it's pretty much the exact same thing that I play live. There's really no difference, to be honest with you. I mean, you have the option to change pickups if you want. I mean, it comes with my signature Seymour Duncan pickup, and it's an active pickup, and it's a very aggressive sounding pickup. The guitar comes with a low pro edge bridge, which is like the one that all the Steve Vai models had back in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. And I wanted to bring that bridge back because I love the way that my palm feels on the saddle. It feels very comfortable. And
obviously the bigger frets obviously feel comfortable to you as well?
The jumbo frets.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Indeed. And a titanium...
I also like I like the one volume knob. For me, less is more, and I just really like the way that's set.
Absolutely. A titanium truss rod, though, you must beat the shit out of these guitars.
Well, the titanium truss rod is more to keep the neck really sturdy because, most of the necks that I have are pretty thin.
Yes.
So you're going to need something that's really solid, in the middle of that neck that's going to keep it just as straight as possible, or, it's not going to be able to move as much, you know what I mean? Especially when you're a touring musician and you're on tour a lot, and you encounter extreme weather changes from really super cold to hot. You want a neck that's going to stay straight because depending on the wood, that neck is going to move. And so, when you're a touring musician, you got to have something that's going to be steady.
Absolutely, and we're really getting things hotted up for you for Soundwave, let me assure you.
Well, I'll definitely be playing the guitar at Soundwave, for sure.
Magnificent. Where do you get the inspiration for your industrial riffs?
You think about it, back in the day, when we first started out, we loved industrial music, and I noticed that a lot of industrial bands would always sample certain things, like they would sample a guitar riff, and they would just loop it over, and I would copy that, and that's kind of like how I came out with my own machine style playing.
Magnificent.
Stop, start.
That was Burton's question, by the way.
That was whose question?
Burton's question. I interviewed him a few moments ago, and I said, "Have you got a question for Dino?"
Oh, okay, cool.
What are you expecting from Australian audiences at Soundwave?
Well, I'm expecting what I always expect, them to be extremely happy because of the songs that we're going to be playing. You know what I mean? It's always a good time every time we play there. Like I said, it's like a home away from home for us. You know, we've got a few gold records in Australia. We got our first gold record in Australia.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
And it always definitely excites the band every time we go there because, you know, the fans there always seem like they get Fear Factory. They love Fear Factory. They're all about Fear Factory. And just to see them singing all the songs is going to make us happy. I mean, we're going to figure out a way to come up with a great set list for Australia for the Soundwave Fest. We are entertaining the idea of possibly letting the fans pick the set list in Australia. But
wow!
You know, we're entertaining the idea. You know, we haven't put it out there yet.
Sure.
We don't know yet. You know, we're kind of in the middle of making a record, so doing the live show, we're not even going to start thinking about it until January. You know, we're going to start putting our heads together and figuring out what we're going to be doing for the Soundwave. But as of right now we're just.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to speak to you. I'm trying to hold myself still here. I'm being all cool, but there's a little fanboy in front of me just going off.
Well, you know, we'll be there. You know, we'll be there playing a show, and we're fans of a lot of the bands that are playing, so we'll definitely be out in the crowd watching some of the shows.
Indeed, and it'll be a pleasure.
Definitely for Godflesh and Ministry and all those bands. I can't wait to see.
Absolutely, and we can't wait to meet you and to see you back on our fair shores again. And thank you very much for your time, and hope all goes brilliantly for the new album. And we'll look forward to seeing you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Dino. Goodbye.
Bye.